Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be talking about my TBR for the Read Moar Comics Readathon. This is a week-long comics focused, obviously, readathon that I am hosting. It's super low key, so if you are interested in reading some comics with me next week, I'm more than happy to have you guys join in for as much or as little as you can do next week. So the readathon runs from Monday, August 5th through Sunday, August 11th. I made up some challenges for it. Feel free to read comics that fulfill those challenges or not. And just use the hashtag #ReadMoreComics if you are posting on Twitter or Instagram, or feel free to send me your YouTube links if you make your own TBR video. So yeah, as I mentioned in my announcement video, I'm a really big fan of like bending and sort of breaking readathon rules because I don't like being told what to do. So basically what I do for readathons is I usually make like a very large stack of books that I could potentially pull from and read depending on like sort of where my mood takes me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about all of the comics that I currently have in my possession and what challenges they would fulfill. So first up, I have the massive and very heavy, my favorite thing is Monsters by Emil Ferris. So this definitely fulfills the challenge of read a comic that is written and illustrated by the exact same person, but it also could technically fulfill the challenge of start a new series because this is technically book one, although book two hasn't been released yet and it keeps getting postponed, so who knows if it'll ever actually get released because, you know, like these books are huge and like super detailed, so I'm sure it takes her forever to finish them. So yes, I have been wanting to read this ever since it came out. I checked it out from the library sometime last year after being on hold forever, and then I didn't even have time to read it before it was due back because it only had a 2 week window, and obviously I couldn't keep it because there were other people on hold for it, so I ended up just buying my own copy. So yes, now we definitely have to read it. Next, I have Aya Love in Yap City by Marjorie Obue and Clement Aubery. This is the second volume in these sort of like larger bind-ups of the Aya series. The first one is called Aya Life in Yap City, and I read that one like years ago at this point, and I've been meaning and wanting to pick up the second volume. I bought it last year when I was in Montreal. They have a Drawn and Quarterly like physical store, which I was super excited about. So we went there, they had a copy of it, so I bought it. This fulfills the continue on with the series because like I said, it's volume 2 of this bind up, and it also counts for the read a comic in translation because this was originally published in, I believe, French. So this series takes place in the 1970s and it's placed in the Ivory Coast, and you are just following this group of friends in their day-to-day lives. It's a really great, really fun slice of life series that I really enjoyed the first volume of, and I've been wanting to read the second volume ever since, and so now I can. All right, next up I have Hikoti by Lorena Alvarez. This is the sequel to Nightlights, which I think I read last year. This is a comic that I really enjoy, specifically because of the art style in it. I think it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. So I read Nightlights earlier, really enjoyed the art style. I didn't know that there was going to be a sequel or a sequel was out until I think Jean from Bookish Thoughts posted about it. And so I immediately put it on hold at the library and got a copy of it. So yes, I'm very excited for this one. This could technically fulfill the continue on with the series task as well as the read a comic written and illustrated by the same person task because it does fulfill both of those. All right, next I have Clue, and this is written by Paul Allure and the art is by Nelson Daniel. So this could kind of fulfill the read a comic you don't know anything about task because this was a complete cover by. I'd never heard of it or knew that it existed in the world, but then I was at my local comic book store picking up something else and I saw this on the shelf and I was like, well, I have to buy that. I really like the art style in here a lot and the coloring and things like that. From what I've seen, people say it's like just really fun and silly like Clue is. This could also be stretched to be used for read a standalone comic. So this is published by IDW, and IDW has started running another Clue series, but they're calling it Clue Candlestick, and it has different people attached to it. So I'm considering that a different series and considering this a standalone because this is just 6 issues. There's no like volume number on this. This came out a couple of years ago, and then IDW just started a new Clue series. So yeah, I'm considering this a standalone. All right, next I have Motor Crush, and this is by Brendan Fletcher, Cameron Stewart, and Babs Tarr. This I am counting for, or would count for, the Start a New Series task as well as the Read a Comic You Don't Know Anything About task. And this one definitely fulfills that last one because I legitimately know nothing about this at all. I was at a comic book store here in Chicago that is like my favorite in the entire city, and they have great selection, and they always have stuff that I've never heard of before but I always really am into. So this was one of those. I was just browsing and I saw this one. I picked it up because this is the team that worked on the Batgirl relaunch that happened a couple of years ago that got a lot of buzz and praise. And I read that run and really enjoyed their writing and their art style a lot. So yes, I picked it up completely on a whim just to try something completely new. And again, it's volume one, so it also starts a new series. And finally, it wouldn't be a comic readathon for me if I didn't pick up some Ms. Marvel. So I have volumes 9 and 10, so I should at least read volume 9 to do that. I don't think I'll read 9 and 10 unless I'm like super into it and I want to keep going, but usually I like to space out my Ms. Marvel volumes so that way I can pick them up whenever I can. Yeah, this would obviously fulfill the continue on with the series task, but yeah, I feel like I have to read Ms. Marvel. All right, and then finally, if you're keeping track, which I don't think anyone is, but there's one task I haven't fulfilled yet, and that is to read a nonfiction comic. And so I don't own any comics or have any comics currently checked out from the library that fulfill that task, but I currently have Good Talk by Mira Jacob on hold. That is a memoir about her talking to her son about just like growing up in the world, being biracial, things like that, and different events that are occurring while her son is growing up. I have it on hold. It's like ready for me to pick up. I just didn't have time to pick it up just yet. So yes, I did get another comic to be able to fulfill all 7 challenges. So that is everything I have for you guys. Feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys plan on reading for the readathon, or if you have links to your own TBR video or Instagram post or anything like that, feel free to leave that down in the comments section as well. Or if you've read any of these comics before and have any opinions about them, feel free to leave that down in the comments section. Or if you have any general questions about the readathon, feel free to leave that as well. Remember to use the hashtag #ReadMoarBooks, that's MOAR, when you are posting about this anywhere online, because that's sort of how I'm trying to keep track of things. Or feel free to tag me specifically in any posts you put up. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.